What's going on, guys? Legacy here. Today I'm coming at you guys with a Master Duel deck profile. So Master Duel's been out for about a week now. I was a little late to the party. I only got it a couple days ago, but I just hit Platinum 5 in ranked. And I wanted to show you guys the deck that I used to hit it because for some context, I tried to build a virtual world deck originally in this game, and it's half finished now, but I messed up because I didn't realize how hard getting ultra rares is. So I crafted the Shen, crafted level 6, and I'm like, wait, I have no more ultra rare points. So I wanted to find a deck that had no ultra rares. I could play with no ultra rares and get pretty high up in ranked. And this deck is Phantasm Spiral, which I want to show you guys today. A side note, these are all like incomplete decks. These are my two complete decks. I have Shen Control. It's a wholly incomplete virtual deck, and the Phantasm deck. But as a side note, I really like the way Konami kind of made this game because you can kind of theory craft decks where you don't have the cards. And as you can see, I don't have a lot of these cards. So my only two actual decks are these two decks. And Phantasm is the deck that I played probably 90% of my games with. So getting right into it, Phantasm Spiral, if you don't know what the deck does, a lot of people don't know what it does. It revolves around this field spell, Pacifist the Phantasm City. So I'll talk about what this field spell does, and then I'll go through the deck profile. So reading this field spell, the first condition is that to use the effect, you cannot normal or special summon effect monsters the turn you activate these effects. So it locks you into normal monsters. And this deck is kind of like a control/stun based deck that really wants to abuse this field spell and normal monsters. So there are two effects of this field spell. Once per turn, if you normal or special summon exactly one normal monster, no other cards, you can search a Phantasm Spiral card, so just free advantage every turn. And then the second effect is non-once per turn. If your opponent activates a card or effect, and you control no tokens, you can special summon one Phantasm Spiral token, which is a level 8 2000 monster. So these two effects in combination, essentially, if you just have the field spell, your opponent does anything, you can summon a token and search a Phantasm Spiral card. So this field spell is basically the whole deck. And the strategy is to normal summon or special summon normal monsters and abuse the advantage and the infinite token that this field spell gives you. So getting right into the deck profile, starting with the monsters, I play 3 Megalo Smasher X, the choice of normal summon for the deck, high attack, and water attribute. The water attribute is very important for a card that I will describe later. I play 1 Phantasm Spiral Dragon. I play this Spiral Dragon package because in ranked you want games to finish quickly, and a lot of the times with this deck, if I don't play this package, the best I can do is this 2k beater and the 2k beater off the field spell. So this is just here. This is a brick, but it's there to basically make games end faster, and I just want to keep playing games because I'm climbing ranked. I have the 1 Ash from the bundle just to throw it in there. Everyone should have this card. Everyone should buy the bundle. I just threw it in there because sometimes Ash is it's a really good card. Moving on to the last monsters, I play 3 Planet Pathfinder. So as I said before, this deck is essentially just the field spell. So I want to have as many ways to the field spell as possible. I don't have Terraforming or Metaverse because those are 2 ultra rares. So I'm playing 3 of these. And while it does conflict with the Pacifist condition, if you normal summon this attribute, you can't activate the effects that turn. It's just much more important to get your field spell online, I've seen, because just the field spell, the engine with the field spell, can beat 90% of the decks out there, especially in like gold and below. So 3 Planet Pathfinders. Moving on to the spells, I play 3 Unexpected Die. So this in real life would probably be Fossil Dig because this is weak to Floodgates, but Fossil Dig is an ultra rare, and this card is free in the starter deck. So it basically does the same thing. If you open Pacifist and if you open Pacifist in this card, you have basically full combo because you get the search off of Pacifist when you normal summon or even special summon the Megalo Smasher. So really good card. Would be fossil dig in real life, but ultra rare. I play 3 Pot of Prosperity because if I were to play this deck legit, I would play 3 Demise and 3 Duality. But Prosperity I just crafted Prosperity because I figured it'd be useful in a lot of other decks, and it basically does the same thing, or it does what I want it to do, which is dig 6 for Pacifist, the Phantasm City, if you don't have it, or the Planet Pathfinder. So you have 6 copies of Pacifist, and the 3 pots to basically dig for them. So I'm pretty much getting Pacifist every game. And because I'm not running, again, if I were playing this deck legit or at full power, I would be playing Terraforming the Metaverse as well as 2 extra copies of this. So the next spell card is Phantasm Spiral Grip, which goes with Phantasm Spiral Dragon. So what this card does is that when you equip it to a normal monster, it gains 500 attack. So all your monsters are normal, and you can equip it to the token off of this as well. So when the equipped monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon 1 Phantasm Spiral Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard and equip it with this card and inflict 1k to your opponent. So this package is just here. Again, this is a break because you can't really summon it. You really only summon it off the equip spell because I just want to end games faster. Play as many games as I want to rank up. And if you run over something with your normal summon, you can deal 1k to your opponent, special summon the Spiral Dragon, maybe even get a search off the Pacifist, and then hit for 29 or 3,400 because you'll equip this field spell or this equip spell to the dragon. So just again, it's 2 bricks, but it's a way to end games quicker because we're playing ranked. And the best card in the deck, Pacifist Phantasm City. I described this in the beginning, but your field spell is the whole deck. You want to be seeing this card every game. Now, moving on to the traps, I play a lot of traps, 22 traps. 3 Torrential Tribute, because Torrential is an insane card and it's a rare. It shouldn't be a rare in my opinion, but it's insane card. If you have honestly, I'm pretty turn 1 if I get to Pacifist and a trap like Torrential or Dynamiscus, that I'm feeling pretty safe. I play 5 Paleos. I play 2 Olenoids. Just a spell trap pop. I found it pretty useful. It came up clutch against a couple Sky Striker matchups because I set this card and then I hit their multi-roll. So really good card. I like main decking some spell and trap removal, even though this is a control deck. And the Paleos just in general are really good with this deck because when you special summon from the graveyard, you can trigger the Pacifist effect. I'm playing 3 Dynamiscus, insane removal, and it's really good in the mid game because if you don't know what this card does, you can discard 1 card to target 1 card on the face-up card on the field and banish it. And whenever in the mid game, if I top deck a Pathfinder and I already have Pacifist, this card is literally useless because if you normal summon it, you turn off your Pacifist. So this is really good discard fodder for the Paleozoic. Onto the Phantasm Spiral spells, or the interesting part of the deck. I play 3 Spiral Battle and 1 Spiral Power. So all the Phantasm spells are unique because they both read that if all monsters you control are normal monsters, you can activate the effect of target, or activate the subsequent effect, which is for Spiral Battle, you target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it, it's a pop. And then if Yuumi on the field, which is what Pacifist the Phantasm City is, this card's name is always treated as Yuumi, you can actually activate it from your hand. So these are trap hand traps that if you have Pacifist up and the token or your normal summon, then you can pop a card, or Spiral Power is that you can target an effect monster and negate it. So you have a searchable effect Veiler and you have a searchable pop. So this is what the core of the deck is about. You set up your pacifist. You search. I'm normally searching the negate if I don't have skill drain, but you want 3 of these to play the grind game, and I just have the 1 power for turn 1 if I really need that negate instead of a disruption. You can play more of these. I find out that I only really need 1. It's not a really good card in the grind game, whereas Battle is a much better card in the grind game. Moving on, I play the 1 Solemn Judgment you get from the bundle. Pretty self-explanatory. Beats Lightning Storm, beats all sorts of spell trap removal. Because really, this deck, if your field spell gets destroyed, or even worse, like Cosmic Cyclone, then you're pretty much dead in the water. So I'd run 3 of these, but again, I just use the free 1 for the bundle. And moving on, I play 3 Fists of the Unrivaled Tenyi, which is essentially 3 extra copies of Solemn Judgment in this deck. So if you don't know what this card does, it's basically Solemn Judgment, except it includes monster effects, and it requires you to control a face-up non-effect monster, which is everything in your deck, the token and your normal summon. And it's got a pseudo Waking the Dragon effect as well. When this set card is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1 non-effect monster from your extra deck, and I run the Blue Eyes Ultimate just to summon off this. So 3 extra copies of Solemn Judgment essentially, but also has the flexibility of being a monster negate as well. Really good card, and also just a rare. And then moving on to the busted card in this deck, it's 3 Skill Drain. I run 3 Skill Drain because it's just insane in this deck. You only run normal monsters. You're only normal summoning Pathfinder turn 1, and it basically it doesn't affect you at all, but it shuts down a lot of decks in the metagame. So 3 Skill Drain. They're probably gonna ban this soon, but until then I'm running this because it's a super rare. For the final card in this deck, we play 3 Sea Stealth Attack. So this is the card that kind of ties this whole deck together. If Pacifist is the heart and soul of the deck, this is like what really makes the deck good. So this card reads, when this card is activated, you can activate 1 Yumi from your hand or graveyard. So pretty good for recycling the field spell if it gets popped. But while Yumi is on the field, this face-up card gains these effects. So the first effect is that once per turn, you can banish 1 water monster you control. This turn, face-up spell and trap cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So this serves many purposes. Obviously, you want to protect your pacifist. If your opponent uses spell trap removal, you just chain this card, banish your token or banish your normal summon, and then you protect your pacifist. It also can protect your normal summon from getting from targeted effects, from pops, etc., etc. And this card is really good with pacifist because the token summoning effect is now once per turn. So if you banish the token with this card, your opponent activates another effect, then the pacifist just keeps turning out tokens. And I've won a lot of duels this way where my opponents don't really realize this. So the second effect is that at the start of the damage step, if your water monster whose original level is 5 or higher battles an opponent monster, destroy that opponent's monster. So this is what makes this card extremely powerful, and this is what makes this deck a control deck. If you have Pacifist and Sea Stealth Attack on the field, you summon a token off Pacifist. The token is actually level 8, so this effect applies to the token. So the token is indestructible by battle. And then you can banish the token using this effect to protect your spell and traps. So your opponent basically can't get over the Sea Stealth Attack lock, is what a lot of people call it. So insane card. If you open, for example, it's just unsearchable. So if you open Pacifist, a normal summon, and this card, then I'm feeling really good about myself. And throw a Skill Drain in there too, it's pretty much game over for you. It's the extra deck. So 15 cards, all of this stuff doesn't matter except the Blue Eyes. Summoning it off the fist. All this stuff is just prosperity fodder. It's you can see I just have like random stuff in here that I'm never gonna summon. But yeah, the really only important part is that you want a solid normal monster to summon off the fist. So my thoughts about this deck, obviously it's pretty solid, got me to Platinum 5. It's really a really good anti-meta deck. A lot of people throw around max C's, and if you max C this deck, you feel really bad. The only thing you can max C is this. And if you were actually playing the deck, this would be Fossil Dig. So my thoughts about the deck. It's cheap, as you see. You don't even really need to play these. I just play them so I can get to the field spell more consistently. You do really want the skill drains though. So you really need 3 super rares, and the rest are rares and normals. So that's crazy to me. Secondly, the deck sucks going second. A lot of the times you're not playing like great decks I'd say like I started playing like a lot of meta decks in like around gold 3. Before then, literally just setting up this card, going second, you can still win the game. But going second against actual meta deck that has probably like an Omni Negate that can just negate this card, it's kind of tough. In terms of how fun to play it is, it's very one-dimensional. I do like how these are searchable hand traps, and it's kind of, the skill in the deck is to kind of outgrind your opponent and interrupt them at their choke points. You're basically just activating this card, normal summoning a card, and setting traps. So it's not that fun to play in terms of if you're like combo decks. And also it's kind of slow to close out games, which is not a good thing when you want to climb ranked. But in general, for how cheap it is, it's an incredible deck, and I definitely highly recommend it. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you guys, I convince you guys to try out this deck because it's so cheap, and I think any of you guys can build it right now. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.